There are restaurants, and then there is the French Laundry. Thomas Keller's beautiful Stone Cottage 3 Michelin star restaurant in Napa Valley. Eating there someday would be a dream, and until then, I'm going to have to make the food at home. This cookbook does a beautiful job illustrating it. I'm going to take this recipe for his beautiful lobster mac and cheese straight out of his masterclass video and see how I can do. Now, full disclosure up front, this is a labor-intensive recipe. There are steps to it. It's going to take you about 2 hours. It's not for the faint of home cooks. But to start, you need some orzo and you need lobster. I'm using lobster tails. I couldn't find any whole live lobsters in my area at the moment. Not until a little bit earlier in the summer will we get those. But uncooked raw lobsters will do the job. And then seafood stock, that's my homemade seafood stock. I'll link that video down below. But we're going to bring a quart of this up to a boil and reduce this down to about 1 cup's worth. While that stock's reducing, we're going to blanch these lobster tails in boiling water that has about a 1/4 cup of vinegar in it, white vinegar distilled, and that'll kind of help the meat pull away from the shells. I do a terrible job taking these out of the shells, so definitely not Thomas Keller standards. But like I said, there's a lot of work that goes into this recipe. I'm doing this because I love the restaurant. I want to taste what the food tastes like at home, but for most home cooks, this is going to be a very difficult recipe. So just watch it, enjoy it, look at the cooking preparation and the effort that goes into the dishes that these Michelin star restaurants make, and just have some fun with it at home here. So as you can see, I also pulled out that digestive tract from that lobster tail. You definitely want to do this. Now we're going to make little Parmesan crisps. He puts this on top of the dish. All you need is some grated Parm. I'm going to use a ring mold to keep them nice and round, but you don't even need to do that. Put in about 2 tablespoons worth of Parm, get them nice and circular, and then throw this into a 400-degree oven for maybe 6 to 8 minutes. You want to just get these nice and golden brown. You can watch it happen. It happens so quickly. Just pay attention to it. That's what you're looking for there. Once they're on there, they're going to continue staying warm and malleable, so you could shape them if you want at this point, but I'm just going to pull them off and put them onto a paper towel and leave these off to the side until the end of the recipe. That's the great thing. A lot of this recipe you can prep a day before or even longer. Here's that stock now reduced. Once you get down to about a cup here, we're going to mix in some whole cream, about a 1/4 cup. Bring that up to a simmer and then just pour it off onto the side. You can let that sit for a day. You can make the day before. You can make this hours before. It's another piece of prep that you do not need to do right away. That is what we're going to finish the orzo in. Now I'm going to par cook the orzo for about 3 to 4 minutes in just regular salted boiling water. That way we don't need to do all the cooking in that beautiful creamy sauce. Once you do that, just rinse it under some cold water and put that off to the side. And we're going to now make a beurre monté to finish off those lobster tails. All this is a mixture of water and butter emulsified together. We're using sweet cream, unsalted butter. That was about a 1/4 cup of water, and just whisk it on very low heat. This here is after 1 stick of butter has been emulsified. You can see it is a creamy sauce. There's no separation here. You don't see milk solids or anything like that. Here we are after 2 full sticks. I added in about another 1/4 cup of water, just to really increase the amount of liquid in here and not make it all butter. As long as you're adding that water slowly, you can just keep the emulsification going. Restaurants will use pounds and pounds of water and butter. So just mix it together, and that's all you need to do. Keep that at a very, very low heat now, and we're going to put those lobster tails back in for about 20 minutes or until they get up to about 140 degrees, and they're just going to bathe in this beautiful butter sauce until they're ready. While that's happening, we're going to cut up some chives. This gets mixed into that seafood broth with the cream. Also, a little trick here, if you take a wet paper towel, or just not even wet, damp, and wrap that around the base of the chives, this will keep them from running away as you try to cut them. It'll keep them nice and even, and it will just make your life a lot easier. And now we're just going to give them a very nice thin slice. I'm going to use my New West knife works for this. I love this knife still, so I'll add that link down below to my discount. But just chop this up. A good amount of chives is going to go a long way because you're going to mix this right into the pasta as a little brightness of green and a little bit of that nice chive flavor to go with the lobster. So you want to cut up a good amount. And once you do that, they should be nice and finely chopped. Don't go sending this off to rate my chives. I don't need that guy telling me how bad I did. This is good enough for a home cook. And now just put that off to the side, and we're ready to finish up this dish. Also, like I had mentioned, all of that can be done beforehand. This is the only part you need to do day of if you prep everything in advance. So I know this is a lot, and this is a very labor-intensive home cook, and I know a lot of you people hate that, but trust me, you could do this all in advance. So once I get all that orzo in and I get all of that cream in, it was about 1/2 pound of pasta for 1/2 quart's worth of sauce. Mix that all together, and now just let this reduce for maybe 3 or 4 minutes. That's all that pasta needs. I'm going to give it a little bit of seasoning at this point, just a little bit of salt. That's all it needs. cheese. And then once you get it nice and thick, we're going to add in 2 tablespoons worth of mascarpone. That's the cheese in this quote mac and cheese. He calls it a mac and cheese, but it is orzo with mascarpone. It is a really elevated, beautiful flavor, and that's it. That's your whole dish. All you're going to do is now plate this, lay the lobster on it, and enjoy. First, though, we got to add in those chives, mix that all together. You're going to use all of it here. I don't need to garnish the top of it. You'll see it come through very nicely on the plate. And now let's plate this up. I think this dish will look very elevated in this fancy little bowl, but put it onto whatever you want. Thomas Keller describes this as like a thicker, creamier risotto, and I totally see that. You could see there's a lot of sauce there, but it's not runny, it's not loose. Everything is together, emulsified. Once you get that in your bowl, you can see those chives. Lay that lobster over it however you want. I cut it so it's a little more bite-sized and manageable, and then just lay on that Parmesan crisp. I tried to get it to sit on the top like a hat, but that didn't really work, so just kind of lay it half on the lobster, half on the pasta, just like that, and that's good enough. And this is just an absolutely stunning dish, but the most important part about this is what does it taste like. And if it tastes anything as good as it smells, I'm going to be blown away. And the first bite is just incredible. You get this nice hint of seafood, but it's not seafoody really. You don't taste like you're eating a fish dish. There's just this nice depth of flavor. The bite with a little bit of that Parmesan crisp is incredible as well. I know this takes a lot of time, but if you want to taste the effort and the quality that goes into a Michelin star restaurant, put in 2 hours of work and you'll see how amazing these dishes come out. Every little attention to detail is needed, and this was absolutely incredible.